What if an ancient text could actually give us a practical blueprint for building a better, more just society? Today, that's exactly what we're going to look at. We're diving into a really powerful passage from the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, verses 172 to 192. We're going to see how it lays out this incredible plan that starts with the food on our plates and ends with the laws that shape our entire lives.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What's so interesting is where this blueprint begins. It doesn't start with some grand, abstract theology or complex laws. Nope. It starts with something incredibly fundamental, laying out a code that connects the things we do every single day to a much higher purpose.
It all starts on our plates. Seriously, the very first instruction is about mindful consumption. The Quran immediately links the physical act of eating to the spiritual act of gratitude. It's such a simple but profound idea, right? What sustains your body should also be something that sustains your soul.
And the key here is this word, tayyibat. Now, this isn't just about what's halal or permissible to eat, it's so much bigger than that. It's a guiding principle for seeking what is good, what is pure, what is wholesome in every part of life. This idea of ethical consumption is literally the first brick laid in this blueprint for a just society.
Okay, so from that physical foundation, the blueprint builds upward. It moves from our plates to our principles to define the very heart of what a righteous life looks like. And it does it in one of the most comprehensive verses in the entire Quran.
So check this out. The Quran immediately pivots and says, hey, hold on. It's not about the empty rituals. It's not just about which direction you happen to be facing when you pray. True righteousness, or birr, is this amazing blend of what you sincerely believe in your heart and what you actually do with your hands.
And this is where the blueprint gets super practical. It breaks down this huge concept of righteousness into 5 clear, actionable pillars. It's not enough to just believe. You have to give from what you love, you have to establish prayer, you have to honor your word, and you have to be patient when things get tough. It's a whole system that weaves faith and social responsibility together. So, with that moral foundation set for the individual, the blueprint expands outward. It zooms out from a person's heart to the structures that are needed to make sure society as a whole is stable and just for everyone.
Now, at first glance, this might sound like a total paradox. How can retribution lead to the saving of life? Well, the philosophy here isn't about revenge. It's about preserving life. The idea is that by having a fair and reliable system of justice, you deter crime and you protect the whole community. It's about healing society, not just punishing an individual.
And this is where the concept of qisas becomes so important. This is not personal revenge. It's not vigilante justice. It's a state-administered system of equitable retaliation, and this part is crucial, it always includes the option for forgiveness and reconciliation. It's a balanced system, designed to protect and to heal.
And this theme of social harmony keeps going. The blueprint tackles another huge source of conflict in any society: inheritance. By setting out clear, fair guidelines for bequests, the text shows that a stable society really begins with stable families that aren't being torn apart by fights over money.
All right, so after setting up these external laws for society, the blueprint does something really fascinating. It turns the camera right back around. It zooms back in from the community to the individual and asks a really important question. How do you build the inner character that's needed to actually uphold the system that's just?
The answer? Fasting. But it's framed as a powerful kind of spiritual training, not a punishment. The whole goal is to achieve taqwa, this state of God consciousness and self-restraint. By fasting in Ramadan, the month the Quran was revealed, you're encouraged to really absorb its guidance. And the emphasis is always on making things achievable, on promoting growth, not causing unbearable hardship.
Now think about the flow here for a second. We've just had rules about food, about charity, about justice, and now about fasting. You'd expect it to just continue with more rules, right? But smack in the middle of the verses on fasting, the Quran hits pause and inserts something totally different, and its placement here is just incredibly powerful.
This is the heart of it all. This is the why behind all the what. The blueprint stops to remind us that the whole purpose of all these disciplines, the prayers, the charity, the fasting, is to cultivate this direct, personal, and intimate relationship with the divine. It's this incredible message of reassurance telling us, I am near.
And this isn't just a one-off idea. This theme of divine nearness is a central message woven throughout the entire Quran. This verse here in Al-Baqarah just echoes that other famous verse from Surah Qaf, reinforcing this idea that connection is always there for anyone who seeks it. So for the final piece of the puzzle, let's look at how the blueprint defines the community's ethical boundaries. How does this internally purified person who feels this closeness to God go out and interact with the world in a just way?
The Quran makes this powerful direct link between your inner purity and your outer integrity. The discipline you learn from fasting is directly connected to your financial integrity. It's a total rejection of hypocrisy. I mean, if you can stop yourself from eating lawful food to purify your soul, then you absolutely must stop yourself from unlawfully consuming the wealth of other people.
And this isn't just a minor suggestion. This principle of financial honesty is so critical to a just society that the Quran hammers it home again and again. You see this command repeated almost word for word in other chapters, like this one from Surah An-Nisa. It's a non-negotiable.
And finally, the blueprint concludes by tackling one of the toughest topics there is, conflict. But even here, it lays down strict humane boundaries. Warfare is defined not as an act of aggression, but as a defensive last resort to stop persecution. It has to be limited, and the door to peace and forgiveness must always, always be left open.
This verse just perfectly sums up the core principle. Even in the middle of a defensive fight, the ethical anchor, the main rule, is do not transgress. This ensures the community has to stick to its moral code, even under the most extreme pressure. The blueprint is reminding us that justice can never be sacrificed for the sake of victory.
So when you take a step back and look at the whole thing, from our diet to our economy, from our personal spirituality to our international relations, what you have is this incredible, integrated vision for a righteous society. It really challenges us to look at our own communities and ask ourselves, are we building a world that balances faith with compassion, justice with restraint? The blueprint has been laid out for 1,400 years. The question for us is, are we ready to build with it?